Morning, guys. It's Thursday morning, and back on the Duramax again for one last hoorah here. Get some primer on a few stone chips on the door and that one funky spot that I'd spoke about before. So basically what I've done, I'm not bagging this whole truck to spot prime this. Got a couple spots. There's one. This is the passenger side. There's a stone chip there. Something up there, the beacon that I have that goes on the roof, which is actually in the truck right now, has been knocked off, and it swings down because it's a magnet mount, and it's hit the side of the truck. There was a little spot there. I really like to feather them out farther than that, but I kind of saved this one for you guys to show you how I do this paper. Basically, if anybody's ever made egg in a basket for breakfast, where you tear out the center of a piece of bread and butter it and then crack an egg in the middle and fry it in a pan. Same idea. You rip the center out of the piece of paper, except there's no frying pan and there's no stove involved. So this is how we do it. There was that goofy spot down here, which I think it will actually be okay, but I'm going to prime it again anyway. I got plenty of paint. So this was the bad side. The other side only had a couple, 3 spots on it, whatever. There's one up here by the window, one down there, and then this guy over here. Now we're about an inch away from where my clear's feathered there, and that's all I really care about. Should be okay with that. If I have to reprime them, I will. But I'm going to put you guys on the stand, and I'm going to basically just show you how I do those, because I got 2 more to do. This camera's been acting goofy on me. Every other time I turn it on, it'll do 4 minutes of video and then freeze up. So, looks like we're at 2:08 right now, so I think we're okay. Basically what I'm going to do, I've got this soft edged right here, but what I'm going to do is take this piece of paper, and actually I'm probably going to do it this way. I'll just tape it over that whole area, because we're not going to have primer way out there. And then I'm going to take and find about where my spot is. And do that so we have an opening there. Big enough to get a couple coats of primer in there. Want to really focus on the area in the center, but we'll put a layer to the outside first so we have something to feather into. So there's that one, and then we'll do this one over here. Again, these are tiny spots, so we're not going to have to use much pressure to get these to do what I want them to do. I could have done this a million different ways, but this is kind of the way I'm doing it today. So. All these areas have been cleaned and scuffed, so we're ready to go. I've got the primer mixed up. And we'll grab a mask and we'll get these done. So that's basically what we're doing. You can do them freehand without masking them. I'm just trying to minimize my overspray. We've got the Finish Line 3 gun there. That's an oldie but goodie. I've had that thing for a long time. Used to be my top coat gun. Base coat, clear coat, whatever. I sprayed it all through that gun. There's the primer and the appropriate activator right there. That kind. That's a 4-to-1 mix. I'm spraying it through a 1.5 tip, which is a touch small, but for spots that size, it'll be just fine. Get the mask out. We're rocking the new mask here for the last couple jobs. Got about another 3 weeks on it, and this one will be a trash one for San and Bondo. You definitely know when your mask is past its limit if you don't write the date on it, because you'll feel like crap after you paint, because it doesn't filter things out, and that's never good. Alrighty. No close-up really today, but we'll do what we can here. I do a test on the wall here before I get with you guys. Okay, got the pattern turned almost all the way in, the pressure cut way down on this, and we may have to make some adjustments on the fly here, but we'll mask up and go for it. Alright, so we're going to let these flash off about 10 minutes apiece and pile some primer on there. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, you can still sort of see the repair area in the middle there, but it's flashing off pretty quick. See those feather edges right there, and we're going to try and make sure those stay buried where they're supposed to be. So there's 10 minutes of a whole lot of nothing for you, but a quickie how to mask for spot priming. So that's where we're at. Not a whole lot else going on. I went and looked at a golf cart this morning to be painted. 6-passenger golf cart, Cushman, mid-80s, something like that, and some family friends of mine that I've known for probably 20 years. And they bought it and put some money into it, Craigslist find sort of deal, and got it running real good and didn't like the way it looked, and they painted it with house paint, and they wanted to look at getting it painted right. because I guess they weren't real happy about the results. And you know, for house paint, they did a pretty darn good job. I mean, they took it apart and did a lot of the steps what appeared to be the proper order, but you know, can't be putting automotive paint over house paint. So, you know, fairly expensive job to detrim and tear it down and get it stripped. Of course, if you didn't have to strip the job, it probably wouldn't be as expensive. That's okay, you know. We do those jobs too. So, gave them a price and they're going to get back to me on that one way or the other. So, don't really know what color or what they want to do with it, but it's a nice little cart, electric 36-volt golf cart. And I've done a couple golf carts before, before my YouTube days for sure. And they're not really hard. They're just time consuming, tearing them all apart. It's got a roof on it, and it's got 6 passenger seating on it, and it needs to have all the seats pulled out, and I'll pull the roof off and that sort of thing. And it's all fiberglass. Needs a little bit of body work, which I would throw in for free, of course. There's only like 2 or 3 little chipped out spots on it, and a hole that was cut in it for whatever reason that would need glassed closed, which they didn't seem to mind, but I think I would fix it nonetheless, just to make it nice. You know, you're putting your name on things, so you want them to be the way that you like them. So yeah, we looked at that, and my poor dog's in the doggy hospital. She got a hold of some human food the other night, and ate about 2 or 3 servings of pierogies with onions in them. And we were told that dogs are allergic to onions, and she was fine all night, and we thought maybe she'd just get sick from eating it, but she got more than sick. She had a reaction to it and was very lethargic, so we took her to the vet, and they ran a bunch of blood work and called the animal poison control hotline and had them kind of give us a rundown of what we needed to do. And you know, a lot of people feed their dogs human food, and a lot of dogs can you know, withstand it just fine. She's almost a 60-pound Siberian Husky, but after the way she was acting, and it didn't just seem like she was ill, it seemed like something was really wrong. We ended up taking her to the emergency hospital after we took her to the vet, because they wanted to monitor her all night. And of course the regular veterinary service does not, in our area, does not monitor the pets 24/7. I mean, they leave at 7 or 8 at night, and they come back at 6 or 7 in the morning. So we had to run her out there, which is about 10 miles away. And of course, the emergency vet clinics are never cheap. That overnight stay was probably a $1,000 bill, if I had to venture a guess, unfortunately. But it's our baby, you know. So my wife's taking care of that. God bless her. You know, running her around. That dog goes to work with her every day, and it's sort of a therapy dog for her dental patients too. You know, she's kind of a mainstay in the practice there. So went and picked her up this morning, and my wife took her back to the regular vet clinic from the overnight animal hospital, and she's doing real good, and they're waiting on some blood work to see if they need to do any further treatment. But so far they've just given her a bunch of fluids like they do anybody you put in the hospital, and she's perked up quite a bit. So we're waiting to hear back from that, and it looks like we can put another coat on this. So why don't we just put another coat on this? Why not, right? So that's what's going on in Velvet's world. Alright, so that's coat number 2. I'm going to put 3 coats on this stuff to make sure I have enough on there to block it out. It's gobbed on there. You know, it's not real smooth like you like to do it if you're doing a whole panel, but these small spots, I'm good with that. We'll block that down with 400 and try and pick a block that's appropriate to the size of the work till you get to stuff like that, which is a total ass ache. Sanding in those body lines up there and getting it to feather and not be a big wad of shit. Yeah, so that's where we're at. We're at 16 minutes. I am going to go ahead and cut you guys loose, and we'll bring you back when we're all done here. And this is a 2-hour primer at 77 degrees for 2 coats. This will be 3 coats, so what I'm probably going to do is wind the heat up in here for about an hour, and then I will turn around and either wait till tomorrow, or I will go around and walk the infrared lamp around, which is right there. You guys have seen that before. And we'll spot that over each one of them. That'll take several hours to do it that way, unfortunately, and it's almost just as easy to let it go overnight. So we'll see how I feel. I'd like to get this prepped up and ready to spray tomorrow. So the other thing I have to do is get rid of my blend line that was in this area right here. There's a little bit of overspray on that, and before I paint I need to knock that line down. So I'll do that with like 600 when I wet sand those spots out. So we'll catch you guys when that's going on. See ya. Alright guys, I jerked the paper off of this. I put one more coat on it after I cut you guys off. That's kind of what you get. So I mean, you've got a hell of a build there. That should block down real nice for sure. We shouldn't have any goofed up edges or anything. I still don't understand why that one fought me like it did, but I actually, these are not problems I should be having after doing this as long as I have. I had a big spot right in the middle of the hood, like right in here, and I actually was able to block the clear down where it sunk, and there was one little teeny spot over here. This one actually came out real nice, but all those spots that I touched up with the clear coat and just dabbed it in there, having a lot of trouble getting that blocked flat, and I need to give this one more buff. I put a scratch in that, don't know how. Something must have wiped over it and scratched it, so that should come out though, no big deal. So that's what we got. You know, looks like a Dalmatian now, but those spots will be a lot smaller come time for this to be done. So that's more of an edge than I want on it for sure. It's not going to feather out as easy, but I'm going to come back in the morning and do this, take some paint supplies home, and keep them nice and warm. Now, somewhere in this mess I thought I had a reasonable sized block to do this. I guess this will be the one that gets used. You can see that block covers that whole repair area, and that's what we want. Same thing with this one. That little guy there will probably be done by hand. This one again will be done with this hard block, and that one there probably done with maybe that Durablock. It's in the bucket. The small hand size one should do it, and honestly the hand size one should block them all, but as of late I've been having problems with this, and I had problems last year with it, and it's like I'm not sure what happened. I think the previous primer that I used and the sealer were older. They were about 1.5 years old, so I'm positive that that maybe we had some issues with the activator in that. I've been told that shelf life on an opened activator is about 30 days. So sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. So there's a good reason, if you're not going to use the large quantities, buy the quarts in hardener. You can buy your product in gallons, but buy your hardener in quarts, pints, half pints, whatever, depending on your ratio and how quick you're going to use it up. That's been discussed before by others, and I think I'm going to heed that warning for sure. when I was cleaning my gun out, I ended up getting a bloody nose, so I apologize. I'm sniffling. I got some drainage going on and some other things, and I know it's nasty, but I'll apologize in advance for that. Got those couple spots there. Hopefully, this one actually, I had my main sand through to get the chip out in the middle, and then I could see I sanded through my clear on the outside, and is what I'm gonna do. I'll do a little experimentation here. After I block these spots out, I am going to go ahead and I'll take this waterborne primer. Now it's worked for me in the past, but I'm going to try using it as a sealer over those spots, and that's what we got there. Metalux 9760. I haven't found a ton of manufacturers that make the waterborne. It doesn't appear, I could be wrong, but it doesn't appear that Matrix offers one. At least it's not in the tech book. And I asked my rep, who's not real 100% up to speed with the Matrix line, because this Metalux and another one are their main paint lines, and they've taken Matrix on within the last well, it's been almost a year now for them. But Metalux is made by ChemSpec, which is in Orrville, Ohio. At least the U.S. plant is, and that is about 20 minutes from my house. As well as, you know, funny, I have a lot of manufacturers of paint supply products and stuff in Ohio. We have a 3M that's about 10 minutes from my house, a manufacturing plant. We have ChemSpec, which is in Orrville, which isn't very far from my house. We have US Chemical, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from my house. And US Chemical is USC. They make Duraglass, and they actually have a paint line now. I found them on YouTube. I didn't realize US Chemical made paint. I knew they made primers and ancillaries, you know, Bondo and things like that, fillers. But I'm trying to think of the name of it. When I come across it, I'll post it in the video or something, or I'll mention it again. So we have that, and PPG is in Strongsville, Ohio, which is 20 minutes from my house. So I have tons of paint manufacturers that are within half an hour to an hour of my house. All the big boys, with the exception of DuPont. So those are all sort of in my vicinity. I'm trying to think of what else is around here. But anyway, I was thinking about using that waterborne primer as a sealer if I get any sand throughs. Because I'm out of sealer, and I'm not very trusting of that sealer. I had about enough to mix up to probably do this, but I'm pretty much out of activator, which tells me I either slightly overmixed at some point, or it evaporated, which could explain why it's going bad, or it is bad. So if I get some goofy sand throughs, I'll just put a coat of waterborne primer over this. That one recommends a 1.5 tip, so shoot a coat of that on, and once you let it dry half an hour, it says you can wet sand it, which I guess I never really thought about it. But it's got to cross-link up and do its thing anyway, so that it's a solid substrate and it's all bonded together and bonded to your panel. And they claim you can wet sand it. So I guess I never asked for a tech sheet on it before. I just always used it as a oh shit product. I never use it for anything else. I guess it's more geared toward doing plastic bumper covers and things like that, but for sure, on something like this, I wouldn't be afraid to use it. This is my truck, it's not a customer vehicle, so, you know, might as well experiment on the guinea pig here and see how that works. I'm still thinking that this is not going to should not cause me any more problems even before I primed it, but shit, there's probably 4 or 5 mils of product down there, so it'll shrink down to probably, you know, 3 or 4, but one thing I wanted to point out, I mean, can see our overspray is, there's a couple drops that squirted underneath it. Actually, I know you can't see it. I apologize. I'm not going to bring the camera. Yeah, what the hell, I'll bring the camera. By doing it that way, even though you're going to wet sand the paneling, you'd probably knock it off anyway. You really don't have any overspray. I mean, I had a little bit sneak under that corner, but you got a couple dots around the outside, that's it. I mean, this is really a quick way to contain it, especially if you have a hard to blend color and you want to keep that repair area super small to the best of your ability. Like say you had a repair right in the middle of this door and you didn't want to have to carry, say it was a difficult silver metallic or something, and you didn't want to have to carry your blend all the way into this door or into that fender, because that's in the beginning. Usually, you know, half a panel is probably enough blend space, but some of them I guess could be difficult. So if you had that right in the middle, by tearing your paper like that, and if you could keep that, if it was a, you know, a little ding, you could keep that repair area to about a 3-incher, and you only have to get coverage in that 3 inches, then you got tons of blend space. But if you take that little spot that was as big as a quarter here and you turned it into half the size of a dollar bill, or a dollar bill size, you know, or as big as my hand, let's say a 6-inch, 8-inch repair of primer, then all of a sudden you're starting to lose real estate here for blending either direction. So there's something to be said for trying to keep it small and keep your overspray down to a minimum. I guess this has turned into more of a talk than a how-to and a bullshit session, but that's something to be said for doing it that way. A lot of guys just turn the pressure way down and cut the fan down so it's real narrow, and then they'll just bomb those spots. But I mean, even with this, I mean, you can see there's a reasonable amount of overspray out to the edge here, and if that paper wasn't here, you'll get kind of like what happened on this side. I got a little bit of a sprayage that came out under the bottom of the paper, but that'll all come right off, no big deal. Quick sanding with it, but you don't want that kind of crap over the whole door and then you have to re-sand it. I have scuffed these doors with a gray Scotch-Brite and Comet, and then I went around all these areas with 320 on the DA to feather them out. I did not feather with 180 at all. That was straight 320. And I'm really hoping that's going to hold that repair down. Typically I'll start with 180, but I really, after fighting some sand scratches before, I wish I could pull this truck outside. I wish it was warm. Wish I could set it in the sun, because an afternoon in the sun would do wonders for curing primer. I see a lot of one of my guys I know runs a body shop down toward my house, and you'll always see vehicles sitting outside with like paper like that, and you know, minimal paper on them and primer spots all over them because he sets them outside. You know, even when it's 75, 85 degrees in your shop in the summer, you can get away with bringing them outside, and that surface temp will get up to 120 or 150 degrees, baking in the sun, especially a darker color, red, dark blue, dark green, black. Any of those, that surface temp will really warm up in the sun, so that'll cause that to cure up real nice. So, all right, that's where we're at, and I guess we're gonna call this a day. So we'll catch you guys.